Okay, good evening once again. We are live. Officially, we are starting today's AMA. So if you're in, I think you should congratulate yourself. And I'm so excited to find so many people. And I think I'm feeling excited today because I can see a lot of beautiful faces. I can see different people with different time zones. I can see someone possibly at night already. So over here, it is just evening, about 4 p.m. I think about 3 p.m. today in Nigeria. So I would like to maybe give opportunity for people from different regions to just say hi, introduce yourself, and then say something or maybe tell us where you're joining us from. So I'm going to give room to like maybe 2 people only. Okay, Versatile. Versatile, you're on.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, community.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, thank you very much once again, leader Smartstone, for this opportunity to take us on this AMA section. We are happy to be here. I'm Versatile, representing Nigeria community, and I'm happy to be here. We are from Nigeria. We are happy to be on Zoom this time around. We are able to see ourselves, not just hearing our voice, but seeing the realness in the community. Thank you. Thank you, Nava
You're
DAO,
welcome. Thank you.
for
Thank you
life.
also. Thank you. Thank you also for joining and representing Nigeria. So I think that was Versatile from Nigeria. Do we have someone from any other region who wants to say hi to the community? So please, if you are there, you can say hi to everyone. So while we progress, good evening once again. I would like to welcome you and congratulate you for being part of our AMA today. Today, we want to discuss on a very unique product of our ecosystem, which is Navacoin. Before I get into the main topic today, I would like to start with a question. I initially have a different strategy for today, and in today's AMA, we are going to have two questions and two quiz questions, and the first person to provide an accurate answer wins a 10 die, and we are going to offer that giveaway for 2 people. And this is how it's going to be. I'm just going to ask a question, only one question per session. The first session is going to be at the beginning of the AMA, and then the next question, which is the last question, is going to be at the end of the AMA session. So I'm not going to ask multiple questions. I'm just going to present one question, but the first person to answer is going to win the prize, the giveaway prize. But what happens if someone can't answer? We are going to push that giveaway to the next AMA session. So I want to ask the first question, and I would like you to listen very well because I won't repeat it more than 2 times. So the question is, Nava DAO economic model is based on 2 unique assets. Name them.
Hello, I have the answer.
Okay, is it Abubakar?
Yeah.
Okay, go on.
Okay, the first one is Navacoin, while the second one is Nava NFTs.
Okay, I think you are confused there, but because of time, I'm still going to give you the answer. Actually, congratulations, you won the first giveaway. It is actually called a soul-bound NFT. Soul-bound NFT. So it's a very unique feature of our NFT that makes it very unique, other than what you can find in a decentralized open marketplace. So our NFT is unique in the sense that it contains the metadata and the historic blockchain event, which is stored on the NFT itself. So whatever activities you do within the ecosystem is being tied to that NFT. So it is tied to your profile, and that's why we call it the soul bound. So your accounts, your activities, the upgrades, the products that you've marketed and promoted, all these histories are being connected to your NFT. So that is why we call it the soul bound NFTs. So thank you. So we are going to proceed. This is our first AMA on Zoom, and we are glad you're joining us. We hope that you join us in future because our AMA is designed to offer a lot more features. We plan to engage and create exciting events in our AMA session. So I would advise you to invite everyone, your community members, your partners, to always join our AMAs. So it is very important. Let me start by saying why it is important. The reason in affiliate marketing or Web3 project, you must understand that what people really want to see is the results. People want to feel the impact. People want to feel the legitimacy of a project. They want to feel the community's enthusiasm. They want to feel the communities, the projects development. So by the time you have community users and partners who have joined your project, who have joined your business, you need to invite these people to join a meeting like this, because the general enthusiasm that we create as a team is going to encourage new partners to join us. For example, you need to invite your users to join our Telegram group. It is important because the more momentum we create, the more interactions, the more enthusiasm that we have in our community groups chat, or for example our social media accounts like Twitter, the more it is going to create more interest in people wanting to find out, because people love to know what's happening. People are naturally curious when they find something that is unique or something they don't know, so they want to get involved. So I would advise you to invite your community. I understand a lot of people are not on Telegram, but you can still invite them. You can encourage them to be part of our chats, part of our social media accounts like our Twitter. In future, we are going to be running a lot of contests and on the Shorts platform. And for you to be involved, it will help to grow your team. So thank you so much. So today we want to talk of Navacoin, which is a token from Nava DAO ecosystem. Before we get there, I would like to give a little bit brief of what Nava coin is. It's actually a cryptocurrency. Some of us, we already know that cryptocurrency is a digital or virtual currency secured by cryptography, operating independently of central banks or government, utilizing decentralized technology, which is blockchain, to enable secure peer-to-peer transactions, while also serving as a medium of exchange. So generally, cryptocurrency is referred to as a digital asset, a digital currency that is hosted on the blockchain network. So this is just like another kind of currency, but it's different from the currency you use, the centralized currency that you use, which are the normal physical currency you use in your country. For example, we have dollars. We have other currency in Nigeria. Here we use Naira. In Ghana, they use cedis. In South Africa, and a whole lot different part of the world uses different currencies. But cryptocurrency is actually different because these currencies are mostly digital and virtual, being built using blockchain technology. And apart from the fact that a cryptocurrency adopts the initial functions, the initial attributes of a blockchain system, such as immutability, the smart contract, transparency, and all the consensus of blockchain technology itself, it also offers a whole lot of advantages, which is an opportunity to like profitability over time, because these currencies are not like the digital and the physical currencies in the centralized banking system, where most times, if you look at the centralized currencies, these currencies are mostly influenced by what we call a singular factor, which is, for example, fundamental factors. But when we're looking at digital currencies, which is cryptocurrencies in this context, these particular currencies can actually be influenced with different factors. For example, the growth of a cryptocurrency can be influenced in about 3 factors. For example, number 1, technical factors. Number 2, we have the fundamental factors. And number 3, we have the sentimental factors. So these are different factors that can drive the growth of an asset, but these particular factors, you can only be initiated depending the kind of currency. So what it means is that the growth of a token, the potential profits it can generate, or the potential value it can actually have over time, can depend on several factors, not just the fundamental factors. When we talk of fundamental factors, we are looking at things like natural occurrences, natural phenomena. For example, a certain news about a GDP, certain news about economic development in a country where a particular digital asset is being used. For example, where a particular country has a certain level of economic activities, it is expected that their currency, must have had some, growth value over time because of those activities. Those are what we refer to as fundamental factors that could influence, the growth of an asset or a product. For example, in a country where there are a lot of war going on, it is naturally fundamentally expected that maybe there's going to have a decline in the value of their digital assets, in the decline in the value of their economic activities, and the decline in their economic activities is also going to affect the factor, the price factor of their assets. So, but when we're looking at cryptocurrencies, it is not just influenced by fundamental factors, but can be influenced by factors like technical factors, can also be influenced by factors like sentimental factors. For example, when we look at the technical factors, it means the more people are buying this token, the more people are buying the token, the more people are investing and owning these tokens, the more potential values it could actually grow. The more people are trading it, adopting it in exchanges, the more it could actually grow in value. Another factor could be the sentimental factor, which is how the community perceives the project, how the community appreciates that particular token, what people say about it. So generally, these are different factors and other existing factors that can actually initiate the growth of a cryptocurrency. So Nava token is a cryptocurrency itself, which means it also adopts these benefits and these factors that I've explained to you earlier, ensuring that users who buy our token and hold our token will have these benefits in future. And not just that, our token has a whole lot of development that creates real utility, ensuring that the token provides maximum profitability and maximum benefit for users in Nava DAO ecosystem. And what are some of these things? I'm just going to give you a highlight as we progress. I'm going to give you more. One of them is integration of our token in gaming systems. For example, we have introduced something called the Nava Games Hub, a platform that integrates various games, such as GameFi, DeFi, and AI to form a gaming system where you don't just earn money, but you are entertained in the process. So this means that you are going to meet a lot of people who will be interested in gaming, who is going to be interested in DeFi gaming, and so they are going to get into the ecosystem. Now, this is what happens. For them to get involved into the gaming systems, they will have to use Navacoin, and they also have to earn in Navacoin, thereby creating value, creating demand for Navacoin, and at the same time ensuring that Navacoin is adopted within our gaming system. And not just that, now when people get into the Nava games, they would begin to play the games. For example, we have games coming up like Lottery 5, which is a simple gaming system that offers various rewards by being actively involved in an ecosystem and minting NFTs like NFTs. You will be able to participate in these games, and then you can earn rewards through the lottery. So now, when a user gets involved, for example, someone might get into Nava ecosystem not because of the referral program, not because of marketing programs or affiliate marketing, but they might get involved because they are interested in games. Number one, that's a selling point. I hope you're getting a lot of tips for market your project, because today I'm going to be giving you some selling points on how you can actually promote your Nava DAO business to prospects, because not everyone out there would be interested in certain things. For example, there are a lot of people that would not naturally want to be involved in anything that has to do with referring someone or marketing or selling something or referring. So there are a lot of people, their interests might be on how to buy a token and just be an investor, while some other people who want to earn passive income from marketing. So now when you meet people, you have to be able to identify what they are interested in, because Nava DAO is an ecosystem that has several aspects that will actually accommodate different people with different needs. So now the first selling point is the gaming system. Now, for example, you met someone who is involved in gaming, the blockchain gaming, and then the person gets involved in the Nava games, and they start playing and then start winning prizes. And then the person also discovers that he can actually have more benefits by owning Nava NFTs, by having more Nava NFTs. So in this case, the person will be interested in marketing, so he can actually receive just extra discounts when he has Nava NFT. So this particular process doesn't only get you to build your team and have people that would only want to be interested in gaming, but in the long run, create a system that you would have these people who were initially interested in games being interested in marketing program. Why? Because of the incentives that it offers. So this is another a strategy that you can actually use to get people involved in your programs by not sometimes directly inviting them to be involved in marketing programs, but giving them opportunity to join Nava DAO to get our products or to get involved in our games. And so this particular system has always proven to work, because most times when you meet people and you tell them, oh, fine, I work with Nava DAO, is an ecosystem that has marketing programs that you can market with Web3 and earn residual or passive income. A lot of people will say, no, I don't want to be involved in network marketing. I cannot refer. I don't know how to sell a product. I don't know how to sell, so I will not be able to join. So by meeting these kind of people, you have a leverage, you have a new strategy to present Nava DAO ecosystem to them. That, oh, you don't need to be involved in marketing. We also have wonderful products. We have gaming systems that you can be involved. And when you get involved in these gaming systems, you can earn in our cryptocurrency, which is Navacoin. And because Navacoin has a potential benefit that over time, it's going to grow in value, you've been able to receive a lot of income, and then you've been able to save a lot of money. So this is another way you can actually get people to be involved. So now another selling point is that when people get involved in our ecosystem, it provides the opportunity for users to interact with blockchain tools. So there are a lot of people out there that use blockchain services, for example, the exchange, on daily basis, and they use this to engage in certain things like trading or exchange of assets over different blockchains. So you can also let users know that we've created an ecosystem that provides not just a token they can buy and hold and receive residual or passive income over time, but they can also use our blockchain tools to engage in things like trading. For example, we have a cross-chain exchange, which is the Nava Games. So these are other selling points that you can actually use. Now, for some other people, when you talk about cryptocurrency, a lot of us are used to hearing some things like, for example, when we talk of a cryptocurrency that has to be with a community project, a cryptocurrency that is derived that can be found in a community project, you have people coming to say, most times saying things like, is a community project. It is usual. They're just going to create hype. And after some time, they will launch the token, and then they will just, they will give up on the token, and the token's developers will not promote or support the token again. So there's this hype going on. And most times when you tell someone, I have a project that has a token, so when you buy this token, it's going to be very profitable, you're going to have sometimes people telling you, community projects are known not to always work. They'll come in and create this hype and then make everyone believe that this token is going to be valuable. And then at the end of the day, everyone is going to buy the token, and then the developers is going to, give up on the token, and then boom, it enters the thin air. But this is not like that regular community project. The reason is because we've understood what makes a project to fail, and we've looked at these particular problems and found a unique solution by creating a token that has real utility and connects with the community, a token that directly utilizes itself within the ecosystem, providing real utility even before it has been listed in the decentralized open exchange. So it is very wonderful. Now, I want to discuss on something that most times people would used to some experience most people would have in a blockchain project. They call it fraud. So now I want to look at some of the things that most people would say about one very unique thing that most times people discuss about in a cryptocurrency project. Remember, the Nava token is a cryptocurrency itself, and we want to address some things that most people experienced in previous cryptocurrencies, because we want to let you know that we are very unique. Now, one of these things is called fraud. Now, generally, fraud can be described as a tactic of spreading negative and misleading information in order to, manipulate a person's perception or behavior. Most times, the purpose and result of this is that it creates panic. Sometimes leading to panic selling or skepticism and about a particular asset or company. And this is one of the things that makes people to lose interest in adopting a cryptocurrency. And this is one of the things that discourages the community, or most times people are actually fearing of being involved in that particular cryptocurrency or purchasing that particular currency. Now, in cryptocurrency, generally, sometimes it can be described as, the fear of losing money or uncertainty about future markets, or sometimes doubts in one's trading abilities. But generally, let's use this particular thought as an highlight point and try to outline some of the things that makes us unique and some of the things that actually should eliminate such particular phenomenon fraud in our cryptocurrency. So let's review how the elements and structure mechanism of Navacoin removes and dissolves the onset of fraud in our ecosystem. Now, the first letter they states something, says fear, the fear of something. Now, Nava token has actually introduced something called the DAO governance, which it's a system where it gives the community users the power to be able to vote in its essence in creating a product, vote in the essence in determining certain things like decision making and management of our product, and also initiate proposals within the ecosystem. So this means that when you hold Nava token, you're not just having another token in your wallet where you can actually make some profit over time, but you're having a token that allows you to shape Nava DAO's projects, to shape the ecosystem, engage in voting and engage in decision making, and contribute positively to the growth of the ecosystem. And so this particular mechanism, this particular governance structure that is being integrated in our ecosystem also approves what we call the Nakamoto coefficient, which I previously we had like a quiz discussion last week, and some of us had some explanations to give and explaining what is Nakamoto coefficient. So the nature and structure of a Nava DAO governance also approves that truly our ecosystem can be adopt the compliance with Nakamoto coefficient, ensuring that there is no need for any user to be, have some fear in adopting our cryptocurrency, because we've actually introduced a system where the development of our cryptocurrency, the development of our ecosystem is in the hands of the entire community and not just in the hands of few people or not being censored. Now, the next one there is uncertainty, right? Are we following? Uncertainty. Okay. Uncertainty there has to do with non-clarity. Non-clarity, like people do not understand what the project is all about. People do not understand the prospects of a token. People having some non-clarity on how the token is going to be utilized. What are the utilities? How is it going to be sustained when it enters the open market? What is going to make people to believe in the project? What is going to make people to buy these tokens? So now let's look at that particular aspect, which is the uncertainty. Now, Nava token or Nava DAO has created a token that has a clearly outlined white paper, a clearly outlined tokenomics with clearly outlined utilities that has been well thought out for a long period of time. Right from the onset of the development of Nava token and the execution of the smart contract that contains the token, Nava team has already created a series of utility and outlined them in its roadmap. These utilities are clearly defined with well thought out mechanism that is going to back up both the growth and sustenance of this token. So if you take a look at our white paper, which we've made available globally to everyone, we've clearly outlined the development structure, the plans, the economic relevance, and the economic objectives of our token, redefining what we mean by true decentralization and true crypto adoption. So if you take a look at our white paper, you can clearly see that we've already connected and outlined the utility and the products which this token is going to be connected to, clearly showing you that this token is out there for success. So the aspect of being uncertain or getting information about our product or our token, it's not something anybody can experience. And so if you study most crypto projects, you discover that a lot of projects out there do not present a clearly written white paper. And for a project to succeed, a project that is going to be successful, it is important that they have a clearly written, well-organized white paper that will actually influence your decision in getting involved. So when somebody wants to buy a token out there, the first one will see the white paper, which is going to review the things like the prospect about that token, also going to review certain things like the tokenomics, which involves the distribution and how the token is going to be marketed. So these are very important part of our token, which actually eliminates that uncertainty of you being involved in Nava token or purchasing Nava token. Now, the last one there says D, the doubt, okay, having doubts in the project team, having doubts, can the project be trusted? Do they have a reliable team? Who are the founders? And who are the developers of the project? Do they have a track record of being successful, or do they have a track record of being involved in unsuccessful project? Now, the first thing I want to let you know that Nava DAO has actually integrated for the first time. Most times in previous project, we can have a truly DAO integrated project, okay? A project that you can have a majority of the decision making, majority of the decisions being operated by the community and not just a few people or a few developers. As I'm going to progress, I'm going to tell you how this is unique and how we are able to achieve this. So this means that the entire belief system of the project is very, very invisible, because the development of the project, the sustenance of the project, is not something that can only be achieved with the minds of just few people, but the entire community who have the power to vote and decide because of the power of what? Navacoin. So the Navacoin you have today is not just a token with utility, but what? A real power, a real governance power. So now, because of our time, let me rush briefly and explain what we mean by Nakamoto coefficient. During our previous meeting last week, I mentioned and I gave a particular quiz topic, which we had some people presenting them. And I also mentioned that I'm going to summarize today for the purpose of generality and allowing people to have a broader concept or knowledge and what is Nakamoto coefficient and how does it reflect in our ecosystem. Okay, now Nakamoto coefficient in simple terms, Nakamoto coefficient is actually the minimum number of independent entities or participants that is required to compromise or control at least one essential subsystem of a blockchain. Okay, the minimum amount of independent entities or participants that is actually required to compromise or control at least one subsection of a blockchain. Okay, so it is not just a regulatory standard, but actually a matrix that is used to checkmate the decentralization rating or censorship resistant rating of a blockchain project or system. Let me try to break this down a little. Now, this particular explanation shows that Nakamoto's coefficient is a kind of a matrix that is established to be able to determine how truly a decentralized blockchain is. For example, when we're looking at things like a blockchain node, a blockchain token, or mining, where we have validators and where we have people validating a particular blockchain network, where we have different nodes in that blockchain, where we have other things like smart contracts. Now, this particular rating checks a particular project or blockchain system or blockchain node to see the amount of people that have control over that system. For example, the lower this number is, the more censorship that particular blockchain is being exposed to. The higher the number, the more decentralized and the more efficient such particular programs is going to be. For example, let's say we have 1,000 participants in a blockchain ecosystem. Or let's say we have 100 blockchain entities in a blockchain node where we have validators, people that validate blockchains of different blocks in the blockchain. Okay, now out of 100 people, you have 2 people having the ability to be able to control or initiate certain decisions in that entire blockchain system. It means that that particular system is not as decentralized as it should be, and therefore means that it's exposed to what we call censorship and centralization. They also, at the same time, affecting the true essence of blockchain itself. So it therefore means if a particular blockchain project have smaller a few set of people or a cycle having the ability to be able to control certain things like development, for example, decision making, for example, establishment, or for example, integration of policies in that particular blockchain product, ecosystem, or whatever it might be. It therefore means that blockchain has a low Nakamoto coefficient, also meaning that that particular project is more centralized than being decentralized. So looking at our Nava DAO ecosystem, we have actually integrated DAO principle in our smart contract, ensuring that decision-making, product influence, product development, strategic management can actually be initiated, proposed, and managed by the entire community, which I'm going to explain to you as we progress. So this particular phenomenon and principle that we've embedded into that Nava DAO ecosystem can actually tell you that truly that it approves of the Nakamoto coefficient principle. Now, why does it improve and approves a project? Why? How or why do we feel that Nakamoto coefficient is necessary to approve a blockchain project, or it improves a blockchain project? I'm going to tell you. The reason is because we can consider Nakamoto's coefficient as a stress test. You know what I mean by stressing something? Okay, for example, you want to know the limit to something, you stress it. Okay, for example, I can pick up this mouse, you can see, for example, this mouse can withstand maybe a pressure from me, but what happens if more people are dragging this mouse? So it's only me that is dragging it now, and then it's strong. But what happens when so many people are trying to stress it? So what we want to know is, if more people are stressing this mouse, how is it going to withstand that stress? So this is what we are looking at. So the Nakamoto coefficient tests how strong a project is. How strong a project is, not just in terms of reliability or credibility, but sometimes also tested in terms of being exposed to an external attack and several other factors. So it's like what we call a legitimacy badge. When you have a badge that, oh, this project is legitimate, so that's what a Nakamoto coefficient is. So truly, I can say that Nava DAO ecosystem, by integrating DAO principle and ensuring that governance is being managed by the entire community using Navacoin, which is what we are discussing today, proves that truly it approves of the standards and regulatory body Nakamoto coefficients. So now let's look at another thing I mentioned earlier when I was explaining forth. I mentioned that one of the things that would eliminate that uncertainty of users being involved in our ecosystem and purchasing Nava token is because we have a clearly defined, clearly outlined white paper. Okay, now what is a white paper? Some people asked this question during our previous AMA, so today I'm going to talk about it. Now, white paper is an informational document that is issued by a company or organization to promote or highlight the features of a solution or a product or a program or a service, and how what it wants to offer and how it wants to actualize those things. I would want to tell you again that a white paper is actually a document or an informational document that is being issued by a company or an organization in order to promote or highlight the features of a product or a program or a service that the company or organization offers, and how it intends to actualize those plans and how it intends to actualize those offers that it presents to you. Okay, so that's what a white paper is. So it's actually a document sometimes released by a crypto project or, for example, a blockchain project that gives investors or participants technical information about its concepts, about its development, also providing access to their roadmap, and also outlining the different ways that they intend to actualize the prospects outlined in their roadmap. So for any company that wants to actually develop something real, something that wants to be sustained over time, it needs to have a white paper. And so the white paper of a company will help you to understand the prospects of a company, will also help you to understand if the company have plans for development, if the company have roadmaps, and if the company also has prospects on how they want to actualize these plans. So when you look at a white paper, any white paper should be able to educate you in terms of and help you or support you in making certain decisions, which could be adopting the company's product or asset or being involved in the company's program or services. So that's what a white paper should be able to offer you. Now, a white paper sometimes can also promote a company's product or service and also incentivize its programs, revealing certain things like why you should buy those products, why you should engage in those programs, or why you should adopt those services. So Nava DAO has actually presented a unique white paper. In my own opinion, I would consider Nava DAO's white paper as both a backgrounder and a promise and solution white paper. Why do I say that? Because Nava DAO doesn't just give an overview of the entire development and what you're expecting to have from the ecosystem, but also identify some of the problems that that was experienced in previous projects, in previous cryptocurrencies. So we've identified these problems, what led to some of the failures that you found in previous projects, and then we've actually created solutions in our ecosystem. And we've clearly outlined these solutions in our white paper. So these are the things that anybody who is getting involved in a cryptocurrency should be interested to find out before they get in. So Nava token, which is Navacoin, also called Nava token because Nava is the ticker of our token, is a cryptocurrency that offers a broad range of utilities and provides maximum benefit for participants in the Nava DAO ecosystem. So now if you look at my screen here, you can see some slides which are provided some very overview of the Nava token system. So saying here that the Nava coin is actually the foundation of governance and participation in our ecosystem. So having access to Navacoin provides you with what we call the voting power, provides you with access to DAO governance, which means you're actively involved in participation and development of our ecosystem, which is something I'm going to tell you as we progress further as we go forward. And so now, what is Nava DAO? Shortly, let me just give you a little bit description of what Nava DAO is, because Nava token is a cryptocurrency, like I've explained to you from the beginning, what a cryptocurrency is. Nava token is a cryptocurrency that is being developed and managed by Nava DAO. Nava DAO is an innovative one-box platform designed to combine the best tools in DeFi, GameFi, AI, and referral programs. Now, so the primary goal of Nava DAO is not just to simplify Web3 platform, but also to transform user participation into a secure and a stable source of income. So today, I want to provide you with some insight into the utilities and one of the functionalities that you can get with Nava token. Let's go to the next slide. So now, Navacoin is actually the fuel for everything in our ecosystem. It provides what we call the synergy for development within our ecosystem. I'd love to repeat that again. So Navacoin provides what we call and acts as a synergy for development within the Nava DAO ecosystem, combining several products, combining several programs together, and creating a unique utility and value for each of the programs and products of this system. So now, one of the things here that Navacoin is being integrated into our ecosystem is the games, which is the Nava games. Another one is the Nava NFT. And of course, we have the staking. And of course, we have the DAO. So now, how is it incorporated? How is it integrated? And how can you benefit from some of these things that I mentioned on my screen, which you can have on my screen here? So let's get on. So now, the Nava token or Nava coin is a token that is actually needed everywhere in our system, in our ecosystem, that is being used not just for usability, but also for holding. And these particular tokens have adopted several kind of mechanisms, which I'm going to outline them as we progress. And these particular mechanisms ensure that limited supply plus the bond mechanisms leads to what we call deflation. Deflation is a limitation of supply with the high demand creating value. So it's a very unique principle in cryptocurrency. When there is a limited supply and there is a high demand, it's a simple economic phenomenon, which most times it can be found generally in life. When there's a limited supply of something and people are demanding for it, it's going to create what we call the value for that, because more people are looking for it, but then there is very limited supply of that, meaning that people would be interested to purchase it at a higher price. So this is one of the things that ensures that the price of a token grows. So because we've actually installed several mechanisms, and one of them is the bond mechanism, bond-in mechanism, and deflationary mechanism, which is going to ensure that the supply of the token reduces rather than increases over time, ensuring that more demand and limited supply will lead to what we call growth factor, increasing the potential value of a Nava token. So the token, this particular principles and mechanism that is being installed ensures that users will have the best profitability and, most importantly, maximum profit for the early investors. Now let's look at some other things which I would love to outline here, which is one of the integration of Navacoin in our ecosystem. The first one says DAO. Okay, you have it on your screen there. You can see that the right hand side, the DAO is one of the elements and one of the integration of Navacoin in our ecosystem. Now, what is DAO and what does it mean? The DAO here is the integration of DAO governance principle in our ecosystem, allowing users or holders of Navacoin to be able to vote and make certain decisions, like managing the DAO platform, like initiating proposals, like also engaging in what strategic decisions and management. So with tokens, with users, when you have these Navacoin tokens in your wallet, you've been able to join in voting, and this voting will allow you to make certain decisions or initiate certain proposals based on the amount of tokens that you've owed. This will allow you to become an active participant in the ecosystem. So now, apart from that, the DAO also will provide you with opportunity to propose, to initiate proposals. To initiate what? Proposals. Now, large holders, for example, users who had a large portion of holders, you will receive additional privileges, including the ability for you to initiate proposals and join the DAO council. So based on a certain factor that is being already established, users who have a large amount of Nava tokens will not just receive additional benefits. For example, these benefits could be extra reward in staking, extra incentives in farming, but you will also have the privilege of being able to initiate a proposal. What does it mean? It means that users who have been invited to the DAO council because they've had large amount of tokens, you'll be able to initiate certain proposals on how the ecosystem should be developed. We'll be able to initiate certain proposals and the kind of product development or product adoption that the developers should integrate or develop. So this is a very active participation model that ensures and incentivizes people to hold large portion of Nava tokens so that they would also be part of the elites, being able to, shape the project, being able to initiate proposals, and being able to have access to more incentives that our ecosystem offers. I mentioned the first one. Remember, I mentioned the first factor which is involved in the DAO governance. The first one is what? Voting right. So when you hold Nava token, you've been able to vote in the ecosystem. The second one I mentioned is what? To be able to what? Initiate proposals, which allows you to join the Nava Council and make proposals on the development and management of the entire ecosystem. So this is an exclusive benefit that you get for being part of Nava DAO Council. And this council is going to be determined based on the amount of tokens that you hold as a member of our community. And then the third one is holding incentives. Now, if your token balance falls below a certain value, certain access to certain VIPs that is available within our ecosystem will automatically be disabled. So this process, what does this offer to the ecosystem? This particular process incentivizes active participation and active purchase of Nava token, because for you to continue having access to this VIP benefit, you would need to have those token balance at that level. So this means it's going to incentivize continual purchase of tokens so that users will still have access to these VIP benefits. So these are one of the benefits that you can get. Then let's get into other ones. I mentioned the first thing, which is governance, which is DAO. Now the next utility that you're going to have in the Navacoin and also within Nava DAO ecosystem is for payments. So now Navacoin is used as a payment method in the ecosystem, starting from the development of the product, for example, like the gaming product, and the final launch of the gaming product in our ecosystem. Nava token will be used as a payment token within the ecosystem, and not just in this gaming product, but will also be used as a payment token in our programs. Our programs, for example, we are having programs like Nava X. We're also having Nava Y, which is a full-fledged referral program that is going to be built on Nava token. So this particular token will be used as a utility token. Now, how is this going to create value? For example, let's take an example in the Nava games. Okay. Now, from the development, when the Nava games is launched, example, one of our Nava games is the Lottery 5 system. And when this game is being launched, it's going to integrate the Navacoin. So for users to interact, to buy tickets, to remunerate income, they will need to use the Navacoin. Now, this is going to create demand for the token, directly influencing the growth of Navacoin, because we've already installed certain mechanisms that will trigger the growth of Navacoin based on the activities of our games, which is the Lottery 5, and of course the reverse market game. So the system has already developed a unique growth trigger system in our games that ensures that Nava token price will grow as more people are using our token to engage in games within the Nava game system. So this particular system will not just be function as a utility token where you can use to make payment or receive payment, but will also ensure that while you make payments and receive payments, the coin price grows as this particular token is being used continually. So that is one of the utility and benefit. The next one is what we call game bonuses. Okay, game bonuses. Now, updated NFTs and purchased Nava X levels, which provides access, is also linked to the token, providing game bonuses in Nava games. Now, if you look at some of our games, you study some of our games, for example, we have the lottery system and the Nava games up, you discover that there is a provision for certain in-game currencies, okay? So Nava games, within our Nava game system, we have in-game currency. So it means that every activity that you perform, you're going to receive some in-game currency. This particular in-game currency can be remunerated into what? Using the Navacoin. So you're going to receive these game bonuses through Navacoin. So this is a very great utility. Now, another example I want to look at how useful Navacoin can be is in terms of the usability, not just the utility. And number one here, I mentioned earlier, is in terms of the real power, being able to vote in the ecosystem, because it gives you real power as a participant who holds Nava token, and also allows you to be able to propose, initiate proposals, and also receives what we call holding incentives. So these are very, very important part of the utilities and usabilities of the Navacoin in the ecosystem. And let's get on to the next. Okay. Opportunities for Nava token holders. I've already explained some of this for you. Being able to vote for new products, control DAO treasuries, and also to launch referral programs and changing platform settings. Okay, fine. The reason I want to show you this is I want to outline what makes these particular opportunities very unique. How does it affect or influence the project growth, and what makes it unique for you as a user? Now, number one here talks about voting for new products. Now, this particular ability for you to use Navacoin to vote for a new product will allow you to choose the best direction for development. Okay, one of the things that has always led to the failure of previous Web3 projects is project developers focusing on the wrong direction. Okay, developing products or programs that is not really useful for the community, because the inspiration behind this product is not being derived from the community. the inspiration behind the development of such product doesn't reflect what the community wants. So how is the ability for you to vote using your Nava token holdings, how does it become relevant for the community? How does it become relevant for the project team? Or how does it become relevant for the entire ecosystem? It's going to allow you to choose what? The right direction for product development, ensuring that the developers or the project team is only involved in developing the right products that the community is interested in. And what will it do? It's going to what? Promote innovation. Look at my screen. I have all these things highlighted here because I think this is available for you in the Nava token PDF, but sometimes most people may not pay attention to read this. So I'm trying to give you an highlight of the opportunity involved in Nava token, the description, and the impact it gives our project. The next one is control of DAO treasury. Now, with the introduction of generally an integrated transparent system where you can actually see everything in the DAO treasury and where users can actually decide how the treasury is being spent by making strategic decisions through their votes. Okay, are you following? I'll repeat it again. Now, where Nava's ecosystem has built its ecosystem using a transparent system where the DA treasury is open for everyone and users will be able to join in voting to decide how the treasury is being managed and how the treasury is being developed, used to develop product. This system will ensure that we have what we call cost management, ensuring that the treasury is being effectively managed, leading to more productivity. And this ensures what? Transparency as well as productivity within our ecosystem. The next one here says launch of referral programs. With the incentive and introduction of a referral system, it is also going to what? Initiate and encourage what? Active participation, improving bonuses and offering referral reward, which I'm going to explain as we progress at the end of the AMA. I'm going to tell you how you can receive extra incentives in the Nava token cells. Okay, now the last one here says changing platform settings. Now, this particular ability using your Nava token holdings allows you to be able to strategically ensure the platform's development is accurately and clearly defined and also executed. Okay, that the platform's development is accurately and clearly defined and executed. Okay, this ensures efficiency and proper development of our ecosystem. So it's a very important part that reveals and outlines some of the opportunities that you can have with Nava token. Now let's get on to the Nava token distribution, which I'm just going to give you a little bit summary because this is going to be a unique topic on its own where we'll take time to describe the tokenomics of Nava token, revealing how we distribute the tokens and how each of these tokenomics is going to affect the development and growth of the token. So the Nava token distribution, like I said earlier, we are going to have a dedicated AMA where we'll look at the tokenomics of Nava token because it's very huge. We cannot explain it in one AMA because our AMA is supposed to be only 40-45 minutes. We do not have all the time to start explaining in details what each of these aspects of token distribution means. But clearly you can find out our distribution here. We have a token cells, which is 50% is allocated to token cells, which is part of what we are having as the Nava token cells in your dashboard. So the tokens you're purchasing in your dashboard is what is these token cells. And then we have team here 10%, marketing 8%, development fund 7%, listing 6%, involved specialist 5%, airdrop 5%, liquidity is 3%, buyback is 3%, farming is 3%. For the purpose of this particular AMA, I'm only going to focus on token sales. Then I'm going to focus on airdrop. Then I'm going to make some highlights on buybacks. The token sale, it's a system that we've offered that allows the members of Nava DAO ecosystem to purchase Navacoin token through allocations. These allocations can be made available when you actively purchase levels or activate levels in NavaX program. So for every activation or reinvestment users engaged in the NavaX program, they also have the opportunity to have certain allocations attached to each level, which will allow users to purchase these tokens in our cells. Now, if you actively participate in NavaX program, for example, you purchase a level 1 in NavaX program, you are going to have an allocation of 20 DAI, which is the price for level 1 multiplied by 2. So for every level you activate or every reinvestment, you are going to have an allocation of 2 times the value or cost of that level. So for example, if you activated level 1 to level 5 for maybe a total of let's say $640 or so, 640 DAI or so, it means you're going to have a token allocation of $620. You're going to have a total allocation of $1,240. So if you purchase a total value of levels for $2,000, it means that you're going to have a token allocation of $4,000. It therefore means that you can now purchase tokens that are worth $4,000 at the price at that moment. So now our token sales, actually, we adopted 2 particular sales periods. The first one being the pre-sale period. In the pre-sale period, a total of 1,250,000 Nava tokens was made available at a sales price of 0.08 DAI with a minimum purchase of 5 DAI, amounting to a total of 100,000 DAI in that particular pre-sale pool. Within this particular pre-sale period, which already was concluded, and as a matter of fact, it was very exciting because we had a massive sales. We sold out the pre-sale tokens in just 2 hours, which is a very wonderful experience you can have in blockchain. Imagine having 100,000 cells generated within just 2 hours. So it reveals the potential of Nava token. It reveals the community sentiment that people believe in Nava token and they see the potential that it is involved. So after the pre-sale, which was concluded already, we are now actively in the main sales period, and where users can also purchase these tokens according to the allocations that you have. Now, let's look at the statistics or the processes that is involved in the main sales. Now, in the main sales, this particular sales is going to last for 12 weeks, which is currently active and remaining, I think a couple of weeks is remaining. Now, this sales is where you have opportunity to purchase the tokens according to the allocations that you have. So a total of 250 million tokens, inclusive of the tokens sold during the pre-sale, is available for purchase in the main sales period. So at the end of the sales period, the team is going to burn the unused tokens. For example, we're looking at out of 250 million tokens, let's imagine only 10 million tokens is sold. It means that the team is going to burn 240 million tokens. This is a very massive burning experience you can ever have in any project. And it shows that how straight that we've actually created a very flexible burning system that that truly reveals that we can actually stress the burning mechanism to any point, ensuring that we have maximum deflation available. So this particular token is being offered at initially at a price of 0.1 DAI, and each week the token's price increases by 10%, also automatically leading to the supply of the token available in the purchase pack reducing by 10% per week. So let me explain that again. Every single week, a token prices increases 10%. This is an incentive we've added in the sales period that encourages early adoption of a token and incentivize massive purchase of the tokens. And this is actually working out because a lot of people are interested in buying the token every day because they want to benefit from the early investors benefit. They want to maximize the profitability that will be achieved. So this particular sales is going to take about 12 weeks. And currently, I think we are already 2 months, remaining a couple of weeks. And then at the end of the sales period, we would have achieved at a total token price of 0.28 DAI. Now we have prospects to list the token once the sales complete. And we're looking at prospects like listing the token at the price of 0.5 DAI. This already reveals maximum profit for what? Early investors. So this is a very important time for you to get involved and buy our token. We are not producing a token just like every other cryptocurrency that you find out there, that you would see a bubble, a bubble that When they launch it, they will have a lot of promises. They have a lot of marketing and noise. They have so many community making so many noise about it, but with no real utility created for it, with unrealistic expectations. We've actually created a token with all the blockchain mechanism that is required to ensure that the token becomes successful. For example, there are very few cryptocurrency out there that would actually burn all unsold tokens up to maybe 90% of all the tokens available for sales. So you will find very few projects would do that. So Nava DAO is the only crypto ecosystem that would actually have a proposal to burn as much as even 90% of all unsold tokens at the end of the sales period. This is something that you won't find elsewhere. So because we believe in our project, we believe in building an ecosystem that truly brings the benefit of cryptocurrency and truly ensures that everyone can receive maximum benefit from it. So because of our time, I think our time is gone. I'm going to be stopping here today for this particular AMA, and I will continue more on Navacoin. This is not going to be one training. There's going to be several trainings on Navacoin where we'll talk extensively on it and review more benefits about it, more deep secret. But what I can tell you, some secret I can tell you today is that we've actually developed a very unique utility for Navacoin. The games we are developing currently, which is going to be available towards the end of this month, these games already has a kind of a growth mechanism that will ensure that it improves and grows, supports the growth of Navacoin. So I would love everyone to get involved to purchase the token, because Navacoin is going to be the future in decentralized cryptocurrencies. There's going to be a massive movement that everybody would love to be involved. If you can take a look at some of the previous tokens in the blockchain, in the cryptocurrency, most of them didn't even start like Nava token. Most of them didn't have the prospect. Most of them didn't have a community behind like Nava token. So you need to get involved. So we've created an ecosystem that ensures that both the spenders, which are actually the games, the gamers or the users, can actually be involved in profit sharing. You have a system where you have spenders, which are actually the gamers, users can involve in profit sharing between the earners, which are actually the promoters and affiliates and all stakers involved in the system. So I would love you to get involved and ensure that you buy and purchase as much Nava token that you can today, and make sure you become an active member of Nava DAO ecosystem. So in our next AMA, we'll be focusing on, we'll talk on token distribution, we'll be talking on vesting, we'll be talking on airdrop system, and we'll be talking on what we call growth mechanism in Navacoin and security in Navacoin. So those are the 4 major topics we want to discuss in our next AMA. So I want you to step out, invite your team and join us. Thank you so much for being part of this AMA. This is where we are going to end for today, and I hope you join us next time, next week. Thank you.